Happy Thursday, family. Thank you so much for taking a moment to join us for One Take Live. I'm your host, Monica May. We're in Orlando, Florida, and we're going to head up the coast to the about Baltimore, Landover, Maryland area for a conversation that's going to be very serious this evening. We're going to get some statistics on some Black and missing children. Every year, there are thousands of children who go missing, and just adults, period, people, period. But 40% now, with the pandemic adding in that extra 10%, are African American. Here tonight is Natalie Wilson. She is with the Black and Missing Foundation Incorporated. And we're going to talk about those statistics and what her organization does to bring awareness to it, and what we, not only as journalists, but as other Black people, can do to help her get the word out and get these people home. Good evening. How are you, Natalie? Thanks so much for being on with us.
Thank you for having me. I hope all is well.
How about with you?
I'm doing well. It's hot in the DC area, and the numbers are spiking as far as the pandemic, and our caseload is increasing as well, but we're hanging in there. I'm hanging in there.
We were on a call with the Central Florida Association of Black Journalists last Saturday, and that's where we first met. And I heard a mom speak. Her daughter's been missing for 5 years already, and she just celebrated her birthday, maybe that day or the day after. And the mom, of course, very emotional. Daughter goes out for a night out and just never comes home. And she's been in touch with you. She's raised money on her own. She's gotten leads, but still no return of her daughter. And I asked you, I said, Nat, how do you stay composed during all of this? Because this is very sad.
Mm-hmm. It is very sad. It is very troubling. And there are times when I lose it. I'm a crybaby, and I especially hurt for these families because we're meeting them at their most difficult times in their lives. When they're searching for their missing loved ones. They don't know what happened to them. Are they alive? Are they being taken care of? Are they being abused? Have they eaten? There's a mother whose daughter is missing out of the DC area. And she says when she drives on the highway and she sees these large black trash bags, she always wonders, is my daughter laying in that? So we have a tough job to do, but it's definitely a passion and a calling, and we have to do it because there are so many families that depend on us, and we have to show up for them.
The organization began out of a need, and you all have been represented well. You've gotten awards for the work that you do. You've been recognized, but there's still more that media can do. We play a huge role in just getting the word out about these young and just adults, Black people, period, who are missing. What more can be done that you think we can do right now?
Well, I believe that all of us play a role in helping to find and bring awareness to our missing. And that includes law enforcement taking these cases seriously and to stop classifying our children as runaways. Because ultimately, when you're classified as a runaway, you do not receive, or your child does not receive, the Amber Alert or any type of media coverage. So that's something that needs to stop. And ultimately, even if the child did leave home voluntarily, what are they leaving from? And ultimately, what are they leading or going to? We know within 24 to 48 hours of being on the street, these children are lured into prostitution or sex trafficking. The media, it is so important for them to show these cases because one, it alerts the community that someone is missing. And then we have boots on the ground where everyone or the community is vigilant and they're looking for this missing individual. But most importantly, it forces law enforcement to add resources to the case. So it puts the pressure on law enforcement. And then our community, we know that someone knows something. Someone can't just disappear and no one has seen it. No one knows nothing at all. And we know that there's a sense of distrust between the minority community and law enforcement. So we have an anonymous tip line. But most importantly, we want to change the narrative that these are missing mothers, their fathers, their sisters, their brothers, their grandparents. They have a name and they have a place in our community, and we need to honor them. We need to protect them because they're voiceless, and we need to be their voice.
When did it all begin for BAM, Black and Missing?
So the Black and Missing Foundation, the inspiration behind it is a young lady by the name of Tamika Houston, who went missing from my sister-in-law's hometown of Spartanburg, South Carolina. And we read how her family really struggled to get national media coverage. There was some local media coverage, but no national coverage. And her aunt was in media relations. So how ironic is that? You pitch to the press and you can't even get press for your missing niece. And we read how Natalie Holloway, I mean, just saying her name, I'm sure her face comes to mind. Miss Eubanks, she went missing a little while later. And they dominated the news cycle. And Tamika's aunt, Rebecca, she contacted those same reporters, those same television programs, asking just for a little bit of coverage, and they were silent. So Derica and I decided, you know what, is this an issue in our community? Because we definitely don't see ourselves on the news. So we did some research, and at the time, 30% of all persons missing were of color. That number has since grown to 40%. So I'm in media relations, Derica's in law enforcement, and those are the two professions needed to help bring awareness to and find our missing. So that's the inspiration behind it. The motivation to keep going are these families that are saying, we are their last resort. They have nowhere else to turn. They went to the police wouldn't take the report. They're asking the media for help. No one is helping. The community is not helping. So we decided we can no longer shrink back because we are wives and mothers and daughters and sisters. We have to do something to help our community.
And you know what? Today it's those children, and we can say those children, but tomorrow it could be our babies. It could be our niece, our nephew. I want to bring in Nicola Mitchell. And I want to make sure that I'm pronouncing it because I want to keep saying Nicola, but it's Nicola Mitchell. She's the Girls Who Brunch tour. And I had the opportunity of meeting her for a brief moment last Saturday as well. And I didn't understand how Girls Who Brunch, that sounds so happy. But you describe what the relationship is with BAM and just how you all got connected. Welcome, Nicola. You're muted, dear.
Oh, so sorry. Peace, Queen. How are you?
I'm good. So
Yeah,
tell us a little bit. Yeah, tell us your story.
Well, my connection to Black and Missing is totally different from Girls Who Brunch, but it kind of all played a part later on down the road. Black and Missing found my goddaughter in 2012. Jade was kidnapped by her father's girlfriend, and she murdered her. She stabbed her over 40 times and left her out in the middle of nowhere because she was upset at her father. So when Jade's mother went and reported her missing, the police told her that, there was nothing that they could do. They never filed a police report. They never did an Amber Alert. She was 10 years old at the time. And that just didn't sit well with me. And her mother called me. I had moved to Atlanta at that time, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, well, maybe she is with her father. Maybe it's not that big of a deal, because I couldn't believe at that time that the police didn't take it serious. After a couple of days, still no police report, still nothing. She asked me, can I go on the radio, because I'm a writer in real life, right? So I called some of my contacts back in Vegas. I got on the radio, posted it on my blog, and somebody connected my blog post to Natalie with Black and Missing in DC. Natalie contacted me on Twitter. She asked me if the if everything was true. She vetted the situation, and then by Monday, Natalie took the ball, and we're here. She made the police start looking for her. She made it national news, and there were search parties started. All kind of stuff started after Natalie and Black and Missing jumped in, and so I know firsthand that a 10-year-old didn't run away, and they never filed a police report for her.
So with your organization, and I'm so sorry, very, 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 just like I said last Saturday, so very sorry to hear that and to hear the outcome, the end results of that. Girls Who Brunch tour. Tell me about that. And I'm sure that there's monies that's raised that is shared. And I just know your spirit, I just know that you do something with it. So tell me a little bit about Girls Who Brunch.
So with Girls Who Brunch, we take girls ages 9 through 17. We give them a girls empowerment conference. I sponsor 50 to 100 girls from low-income backgrounds, girls rescued from the sex trade, girls in foster care, girls in group homes. And I put them with girls from better circumstance and just give them a girls empowerment conference. We let them have fun. We bring in a DJ, a red carpet, all kinds of celebrities and things, and subliminally teach them at the same time. And I really feel like Girls Who Brunch is important because there's so many women now who do not know how to communicate, who do not have life skills, and it's because they didn't have an organization like Girls Who Brunch. And yes, this is our fundraising time right now. We're in the process of raising $50,000. With the 21 cities that we go to, that would give us $2,500 a city.
So this is a national organization then, huh?
Yes, ma'am. We service 25,000 girls as of date.
This is wonderful. This is wonderful. If you are just logging on, you're missing some really pertinent information. We're talking about children. We're talking about people, especially African Americans, who go missing. Where do they go? How are they found? Well, there is an organization who is doing all that they can, Black and Missing Foundation Incorporated. Natalie Wilson is one of the co-founders of that organization. And tell us a little bit about the procedure. What would I do if I've not gotten any results in my community? How is it that I would connect with you? And then what would happen after that?
Okay, so we receive referrals from family members who have heard of us. We have now created a partnership with some law enforcement agencies, so they would refer families to us. But once you contact the Black and Missing Foundation, we must ensure that a missing persons report is on file because we have to protect you or the loved one, the missing person, as well as the organization. Once that is done, we then upload that information to our national database, and it can be viewed by anyone that visits our website at bamfi.org. Once that information is uploaded, we then utilize social media because it's instantaneous, and we can get that information to the community right away so that people can be on the lookout for this missing person. Once that's done, we also share that information with our media partners, and we coach families. We help them to tell their stories through the media. I hate to say this, but as people of color, particularly women of color, we are viewed in a different light, and I want to make sure that the families or the mothers connect with the audience and they don't come across as an angry Black woman, which it shouldn't matter. But we want to make sure that they come across a certain way so that they can connect with the community. And, that's how we help them. We also help them with creating flyers, printing of flyers. Sadly, oftentimes, as Nicola mentioned, when someone is found, they may not be found alive. So we help with burial services as well as financial services. What we are seeing is that families are being scammed time and time again out of their money by people. So family members are putting their contact information on the flyers, and people are calling and saying, I know where your loved one is. You need to pay me X number of dollars and I'll return them. And it's so far from the truth. And again, you're meeting them at their desperate times, and they're giving up this money. So we're telling family members, do not put your personal information on the flyer. We even have people that I've heard stories where people are saying, you can go to the bank and get a loan so that you can pay me $10,000 so I can return your child. And people are doing this because they want their loved one home. Miss May, did I lose you?
No, you didn't lose me. My dogs were going a little bit crazy at that time. I am so sorry. In this day and age of, Zooming, StreamYard, life still continues
Okay.
to happen. So I apologize for that.
Okay.
So then the money that is raised is used for the items that you're talking about, but you don't pay a ransom or anything like that. You would never do that, right?
No, absolutely not. We do not, and we encourage the families not to do that. And again, it starts with not putting their personal information on the flyer. Again, it's such a difficult time for families and for people to prey on them. It's really a sad thing to see, but we provide as much financial support. Um, the families may be having a vigil and they want to wear T-shirts with the loved one's, picture on there. We also help with that. We help with whatever we can from the donations that we receive. I have a full-time job. Derica has a full-time job. So we do not take a salary from the organization, but we definitely funnel that money, the donations we receive, back to the organization.
So you are in touch constantly with these families, like Miss Tony. I'm sure that she has received so much help. And the sad thing was during all of this, she lost her son to gun violence. And she
Yeah.
actually said something that I need media people to understand this. Her daughter's missing was not really brought forth until her son incident took precedent. And
Hmm.
then it was also like, and also, when that should
Yeah.
have been the lead. So we're
Right.
asking all media people, if you ever get an email from Black and Missing or an organization, period, that is asking for your assistance just for 30, 60, 2 minutes of time, please go to your news assignment editor and make sure that attention is given to these children, these people who have gone missing. We're talking about Black and Missing this evening, and I knew that we would run over just a little bit. I wanted to see if there was anything that we could give a tip to a family in terms of how do you can't guard your child from ever being taken away from you, but what are some things that you can say to young people to keep themselves safe?
Well, you know what? We are all pretty much on social media. And what we ask family members or guardians, parents to do is to create a fictitious account and see if you could befriend your child. And you'll be surprised once you start grooming them. And that's what the pimps do. The grooming process isn't a day or two, it could be years. And that's what we're hearing from family members. And they become comfortable with you and they share personal information and they believe that you're their friend. And see what information they share with you. And then you can start having that conversation with your child. Hey, I'm not who you thought I was behind the screen. So we
Mm.
ask parents to do that all the time, and you'll be surprised what you find. And of
Mhm.
course, have those tough conversations with your child. Look and monitor at what they're doing, who they're talking to, who their friends are. And we need to get the faith-based organizations involved. There's so many issues affecting our community that results in someone going missing. And if we rip the layer back and ensure that nothing is taboo, I think we can see some differences.
It is that communication factor. We have an organization here, my daughter and I, called Let's Spill the Tea. And those are the conversations that we have. We teach parents to give themselves credit, first of all, and also to understand you're not your child's friend, but you are responsible for taking care of them. So we give them factors or pointers on how to have those tough conversations. We did a social media workshop not too long ago, and we brought in an expert, Dr. Rowe, and that is what she talked about. You better get on that social media with your kids and try to just figure out and just weave through everything just so you can get to understand what's going on in their life. So again, we're going to wrap up right now, but ways to reach out to BMFI, you can give them a call at 877-97 BAMFI, that's 972-2634, and it is Black and Missing or BAMFI.org online. Okay, and Girls Who Brunch Tour, is that a .org after that, Nicola?
It's .com.
.com?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So we had a chance to and I want to stay connected to both of you ladies, because as a media person, I want to make sure that we're doing enough. I know that the Central Florida Association of Black Journalists is going to try to get you at the next national convention. That's going to be a big
Thank you.
Yeah, that's going to be a big win. That is, because people have to recognize the organization, and they have to recognize what we need to do as Black folks to keep our young people and just our people, our loved ones safe. Ladies, thank you both so much for being on One Take Live this evening.
And Miss May, can I say something? Nicola's Girls Who Brunch will be in Florida. Nicola, I can't remember the date.
September.
When you coming here, girl?
September 28th.
Say it again.
September 28th.
All right. We will talk before then to make sure that we can connect, okay?
We'll be in
Thank
Jacksonville.
you for bringing that up, Natalie.
You're welcome. And thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for watching another edition of One Take Live. I'm Monica May. Have a wonderful evening.